Hey there, welcome to another one of my videos. Well, it's been an interesting week to say the least. Oh boy. This country appears to be unraveling very quickly, but honestly, I don't believe it. I really feel like it's mostly the media, and like I've said in my previous video about the media, they're the enemy. And you know, one thing about the 2020 election, and I was pretty sure it was going to go one of two ways, obviously. What I mean was, either it would be an honest election, fat chance of that, but honest in that it should have been such a huge landslide that it couldn't have been overwhelmed by fraud. But I definitely thought that there was the possibility that the fraud could have been so widespread, so rampant, so systematic that it would overwhelm the actual landslide, the actual votes. And it's pretty clear with the media calling the election before it's been certified, before anything has been recounted, before any of these glitches. Honestly, we live in the 21st century with microprocessors that can do like billions of calculations a second. How hard is it to count? No, I'm being serious. How hard is it to count? Just simple counting, simple accounting. You count numbers over here, you add them to numbers over here, you put them together, you send them up the ladder. Those numbers get added to other numbers. It's really, really, really simple. It doesn't even take software. We could do it with actual machines, physical machines. We did do it with physical machines, which are much harder to fool. You know, a digital device only has to be fooled by the software that's written for it. And believe it or not, the software written for these machines is proprietary and you're not allowed to look at it. Oh, what a surprise. So, I've talked about voting before, and I talked about the fact that I had only voted a couple of times before, and the last couple of elections, I didn't vote because I didn't see a point. I mean, first of all, I didn't want to vote for the lesser of two evils because I'm still voting for evil. But, this time around, I saw a candidate that I didn't think was evil. I mean, I thought he might have been self-interested. I thought he might have been a jack-off. I mean, a jerk, whatever you want to call him. I didn't think he was evil, though. And the more and more I saw the media try to demonize a guy, the more I actually kind of liked him. Because the media is the enemy. And if they're attacking him, there must be something going on there. There must be a reason for them not to like him. And him trying to draw down the wars and the peace accords and all this stuff. Yeah, it actually seems like an actual leader, not just someone trying to sell us out to the highest bidder. But that's what we got now, at least for the moment. We'll see. See, the election, well, I guess I should say that the topic of my video today is integrity. And when I say integrity, I'm talking about more than just a weed farm in Colorado. Hope y'all get that joke. Spelled a little differently. Anyway, integrity. Integrity in elections, integrity in media, integrity in the populace. The people that actually know better, that are watching this and are being tribal and see this as an opportunity to say, we won, we won. The people are those that know that there's cheating going on, that know that there's fraud going on. They don't have any integrity. That's a big problem. It's probably one of the bigger problems we have in this country today. People trying to cheat the system, people trying to cheat each other, people just trying to cheat at life. however that is, you know. I can't say I've had me becoming a person of integrity was a long process. Oh man, every time I turn the camera on, my nose itches. Oh, sorry. Maybe that was just me lying. Maybe that was my Pinocchio nose sticking out. No, I mean, when I was a kid, I don't think I had very much integrity. I had to learn how important that was through trial and error, through losing friends and losing opportunities, and realizing that by grifting, by stealing, by dishonesty, you don't get anywhere. You're actually moving backwards. You know, nothing's free. And anything you ever steal, you wind up paying for eventually. I learned that lesson in my youth. I learned it the hard way, just like almost anything I've ever had to learn. But once learned, I definitely took it to heart. And I'd say anybody that you talk to that knows me very well would say I'm definitely a person of integrity. I mean, I might talk a lot of shit. I might run my mouth. I might be sarcastic and sardonic and cutting and whatever, but in the end, I have integrity. And I'm not bragging about it. I think everybody that's grown into an adult, I mean, that's kind of, to me, that's kind of part of being an adult, of becoming an adult, is developing a sense of integrity so that people know what to expect from you. And not everybody has to get there by being shifty first. Some people are just blessed by having that kind of upbringing and integrity kind of built in. I'm not saying my upbringing was bad and taught me bad things. I taught myself bad things. But I was always a curious person. And, you know, I was always curious if there was a loophole. You know, once I learned what loopholes were. The problem is, like I said, these loopholes only lead you backwards. They only move you backwards. They devolve you in a way. And I see that right now. This election is a de-evolution of sorts. You know, if what has happened in this 2020 United States election, if this is allowed to stand, this kind of rampant fraud, I don't think it's ever going to change, and without the system being completely replaced. And unfortunately, what I see is not the civil war that the media wants so bad, where the people fight each other. I see a revolutionary war, much more like what we had against the British in the 1700s. And I see it being more of a war of ideas again. And honestly, the war is on. As far as I'm concerned, we've been at war with China for quite a while. And China has, they have their assets. I believe the Chinese and the Israelis are working together through the media for different purposes, obviously. But I believe they each have their own reasons to undermine our sovereignty, to undermine our integrity. And yeah, the war is on, folks. The war for your mind, all of our minds. So what can you do? I don't suggest violence. Believe me, that is absolutely the worst idea. What I do suggest is starving the beast. Stop watching the mainstream media. Turn it off. Get off the social media. Get off the television news. Those dozen of you that still read newspapers, just stop. Just starve the media. And not just the media, starve China. Stop buying all this crap from China. You don't need it. If you really need something, look to your community. Look to... It's funny, the social media platforms have kind of overtaken that too, haven't they? Do what you can. Do what you can to find the things that you need and buy them here in America. Buy used things if you can. Fix broken things. Buy things, if you have to buy new stuff, buy stuff made in America. There's so much more stuff made in America that wasn't made here a couple years ago. I wonder who's responsible for that. Anyway, starve the beast. All the beasts. Beasts. Not this beast. Don't starve this beast. I'm doing plenty of, not starving, but I'm doing plenty of mitigation of what I'm consuming. There's a lot more you can do too. You know, you can try to make other people aware of the situation, but really just try to think for yourself. Stop letting these giant establishment corporations fill your head with their ideas, with their talking points, with their agenda. Their agenda is totally against you as an individual. They're against your freedoms. They've spent the last 4 years demonizing the president and undermining the integrity of his election, which they never proved. And if there had been actual fraud on his side, believe me, it would have been proved. If there was any kind of crimes coming from that guy, it would have been proved. And they have tried and tried. And, you know, the fact that they keep trying and trying, it kind of shows you how guilty they are. These people that keep accusing him of crimes, because they know what absolute criminals they are. So they just assume this guy must be a criminal too. And, you know, there's some people that will say doing business and making profit is criminal in its own way. There might have been a time when I was a younger, socialist-ish kind of person where I might have agreed with some of that, but not anymore. No. He's earned his money. He plays the game. He plays the system for whatever it's worth. Like I said, the guy's not perfect. I'm not a huge fan, but I tell you what, I don't see an arch criminal. And the fact that the criminal Chinese corrupted media, the fact that they don't like him makes me curious as to what's really going on there. Folks, we got a long road ahead of us here. You know, they weren't kidding when they said 79 days of hell. And let me look into my crystal ball and predict the immediate future here. So far, we've had an election, sort of. We had all these mail-in ballots, which we knew were going to be bullshit. We had a record number of people vote. However you slice it, whatever you have as far as fraudulent voting, one of the candidates had a record number of votes cast for them. Because that's how fraud works. You had to have that many real votes for the fraud to come in to counteract it. You see what I'm saying? So we have people that are engaged in this in this process. And I tell you what, though, if this kind of fraud is allowed to stand, the next election, you're going to see a record low level of interaction. People are going to be fed up and they're just going to not participate in the process. And I tell you another thing, as weak as we look to the world right now, as corrupt as we look to all the other countries on this planet, see, America's not the whole planet. We have a whole planet of countries. And if they don't have faith in our system to elect a leader, they're not going to recognize our so-called leader as an actual leader. You know, you saw some of this with the bullshit collusion stuff with the current president, with certain other countries, you know, not respecting him. And That was with an unproven level of imaginary fraud. When we get some actual proven fraud, if this shit stands, man, the other countries just aren't going to respect us. They already kind of don't. You know, our military might and our petrodollar is the one thing that keeps them in line. And you know, this faker president-elect wants to get rid of our petrodollar, essentially. We'll see about that. Oh boy, that happens and we're done. Folks, we're done. That's the only thing that makes our currency worth anything, is our ability to mine and distribute our fuels. It's going to get ugly, guys. And I, for one, am doubling my efforts to put myself in a nice little camper. I was actually out at my property yesterday, and it was talking to me. It was telling me, it was like, get a chainsaw and get out here and just get to work. You know, my health isn't the best that it could be, but I can walk and I can move and I can swing a chainsaw. And as long as I do it carefully and probably bring a friend out there for a little while so I can learn how to do that properly. I mean, I know how to work a chainsaw, and I've helped someone fell trees before, but they were an expert when I was working with them. And hey, maybe I'll find that friend to come help me out. But hell, felling trees is the hardest thing it's the first thing the first hard thing I've got to do. So I've got my own plans. I might just check out of society for a while and see if I can live out there on my own and interact with all you dipshits as little as possible. Yeah. Anyway, look, you may be dipshits, but I love you, and I mean it. Until next time.